Bruxish is a very ugly Pokemon. Colors are a bit too clashing. It's got this exaggeratedly feminine features in the lips and the eyes especially, but not in a way that really works, I think. Not in a way that really makes sense with the whole rest of the Pokemon design. Under the top left here we have a photo of the reef triggerfish, which is one of the more prominent inspirations for Bruxish. It's a fish with a very prominent mouth as well. But like the mouth is probably one of the worst features, let's say, one of the worst features of Bruxish. The mouth is just so prominent and so incredibly toothy, it is very off-putting. Like I have to keep the mouth, I have to keep it in a way that just makes more sense. That is, it's like it still has to be a prominent mouth because that's what Bruxish is, like that's what the name comes from and everything. So just gonna have to find a way around it. But the other thing that I wanted to just kind of keep in mind and think about as we get started with this redesign is that my friend Brett pointed out to me that they see Bruxish as a drag queen Pokemon. And, you know, the drag queen aesthetic is very overly exaggerated feminine features, and that's exactly what Bruxish is. I hadn't seen that before, but once they pointed it out to me, I see, yeah, Bruxish is definitely kind of leaning on that aesthetic. So I want to try to do something that keeps the Bruxish look and maybe emphasizes a little bit more the drag angle in a way that makes it a little bit more obvious, while also trying to make Bruxish as a whole less off-putting. We'll see if we can do that. It's going to be a very challenging redesign. The main thing that I want to do with the lips is that rather than having this like very kind of prominent lips and you know the super jagged teeth, because I think that's definitely part of what makes it really off-putting, is that I want to keep those elements but downplay them a little bit. So this was Indigo's suggestion to have kind of one of those cartoon, like almost kind of sideways grins where you don't individually define all of the teeth, you just kind of do almost like a heartbeat shape in the corner just to imply those teeth. And then also probably not have like 3D lips. The other really prominent thing on Bruxish is the eye. They emphasize the eyelashes. I'm more inclined to emphasize the eye makeup. I'm thinking like a very prominent wingtip. I want to keep it feminine. Like I want to keep that, but it has to be exaggeratedly feminine in a way that isn't off-putting. And to put that on a fish, that's a really difficult thing to accomplish. Oh, the flower. For now, I'm gonna keep it as a flower. I was trying to find a way to make it imitate like an exaggerated, like a hairstyle kind of thing. The only other part that I really figured out so far is the markings. I wanted the markings to be a little bit closer to the actual triggerfish, but I also wanted it to emphasize some of the styles of drag makeup. Drag makeup often really emphasizes cheekbones and very prominent eyebrows. The way I did it here was with that black stripe curving around the eye, which is kind of similar to what Bruxish already has. If there's a specific flower, especially if it's a Hawaiian flower, that we can use that would make it more hair-like, that would be ideal. What about a hibiscus, which is Hawaii's state flower? Let's have a look at that. Oh yeah, that one. Okay. Well, let's try it. Let's see if I can make the hibiscus look a little bit more like hair. Anemone hair would be nice. I like the hibiscus because the hibiscus is thematically appropriate for a Hawaiian fish. But I like that idea very much of anemone hair. More fitting for a water type, something that is actually aquatic but that looks like a flower. What do you guys think? I think the hibiscus looks more feminine and appealing. I'm inclined to that as well. Like, I really like the idea of anemone hair. Like, it seems like it would work better, but I do think that the hibiscus serves its purpose a little bit better. All right, yeah, let me figure out how exactly I want to draw this. I want to do something a little bit more interesting. If I can get both eyes to be visible, I think that would be great. The thing is that fish they're very slim, and I think that the triggerfish is very flat. And it's kind of an awkward shape that I'm really just not familiar with. Yeah, I knew I was gonna struggle with this part. Okay, in terms of the pose, I think this works better. I definitely need to adjust a whole bunch of proportions and such. But I think I'm ready to just move on with this. It's not great, and it's not the most exciting pose, but it's definitely better than the original in terms of it being in an interesting position. And it's also much better looking than any of these other ones that I tried that just don't look great. Did you prefer it before, with the flower directly on the head and then the stem, or the stem and then the flower? Let's take a vote. Flower, on a stem or not on a stem? I hope at least 3 people have a stronger opinion than I do. I think the stem people are being louder. So I'm gonna go with this. You guys happy? I need to figure out actually something to do with the forehead here because like I want this to be one color and I want this to be a different color. So somewhere in this general area, it needs to change. And I don't know where it would change. Just an arc going over the stem. I like that. I like that because it actually ends up reflecting the kind of shape of the hibiscus with 3 bumps. Let me put in some colors now. I'm just gonna steal Bruxish's original colors. And then I'll apply them as is, but then after I've applied them, I'll adjust. I'm satisfied with this as a Bruxish redesign. I don't think I particularly like it. Like, I like it as a Bruxish, as a new take, a new version of Bruxish, sure. But in terms of like liking it as a Pokemon, which sometimes I do with other redesigns, nah. Overall, I'm happy with this. Like, I think that it maintains what Bruxish intended to be, and also maybe hopefully makes the idea of the drag makeup a little bit more obvious, but it also makes it less off-putting, I think. But yeah, I think that it works better than the original Bruxish. That said, I don't particularly like this design as it is, or as a Pokemon specifically, but like I don't really know what it would do in order to still be a psychic triggerfish with elements of drag. I hope you enjoyed that redesign of Bruxish. You can let me know what you thought in the comments. If you want to join me for the next redesign stream, that'll happen here on YouTube as usual on May 30th at noon Pacific time. But there won't be a poll for that redesign. We've now run through the entire list of Pokemon that I'd selected as redesign possibilities back when I first started this series. But there were some Pokemon that we didn't actually redesign. The rule was, if a Pokemon appeared in a poll 3 times but was passed up for a redesign 3 times, I would just skip it entirely. But there were Pokemon that we skipped that I actually really want to do, so those are the ones that we're going to do next. So the next redesign will be Hawlucha, and the one after that will be Typenol and Silvally. After that, I'll just be taking suggestions for a while at least. You can actually start leaving your requests in the comment now if you want. I will just keep track of what you guys want to see, and feel free to request Pokemon from any generation except for Generation 1 Pokemon that we haven't covered yet in the new 151. If it's a Gen 1 Pokemon that we have already covered, I'm probably not going to favor it, but I will consider doing a different take. Alright, before I go, I just want to say thank you to my patrons for their continued support, especially luxury patron Ethan Saffron. I'm Umbreon Libris. I'll see you in the next chapter. And we didn't plan how I'm going to walk off this time. I'm completely blocked in. So... new apartment, new set, new rules, I guess.